Reading. An escape into a different world. A world of secrets, darkness, horror, and nightmares. But thank goodness they're just oh, no, that's right, they're not just books. Some people have taken the thrilling tales and turned them into movies. But should they have? Hi, I'm V, and today I'll be taking your curious craniums through the top 5 horror books that are better than the movies. Number 5. Pet Sematary. Okay, guys, it's Stephen King. The first person that you think of when you think horror in literature. Making a movie that is capable of outshining his literary masterpiece is going to be a challenge. I'm realizing that I could have made a great joke about The Shining with outshining, shining, whatever. There have been some decent movie adaptations and even a new installment released this year, but to many people, none have been able to capture the dark energy that is displayed throughout the book. So let's go through a couple of reasons. Depth of characterization. Stephen King is known for his masterful character development, and Pet Sematary is no exception. In the novel, readers are given the opportunity to delve deep into the minds of the characters, understanding their fears, desires, and the psychological turmoil that grips them. The film adaptations struggle to convey the same depth, because there's only so much that can be communicated through visual storytelling in a limited runtime. Exploration of complex themes. The novel explores complex themes such as death, grief, and the thrilling allure of the supernatural. King delves into the human psyche and explores how people grapple with their deepest fears and temptations. The movies, while effectively conveying most horror elements, often miss out on the profound exploration of these themes. Relating back to the depth of characterization, we have inner monologues, which are a significant portion of the novel. It consists of the characters' inner monologues, and it provides insight into their thoughts and emotions. This internal perspective is challenging to capture on the screen, which tends to focus on external actions and dialogues. King's prose allows readers to empathize with the characters on a much deeper level. Pet Sematary's novel is rich in subplots that contribute to the overall atmosphere of dread. The novel includes the backstory of the burial ground, the Wendigo legend, and the Pascow subplot, all of which effectively enhance the eerie ambiance and add to the deep understanding of the story. One of King's strengths is his ability to surprise readers with unexpected twists and turns. The novel keeps readers on the edge of their seat with unexpected developments and a genuinely shocking climax. Film adaptations, while attempting to retain the suspense, struggle to match the novel's ability to keep audiences guessing. While film adaptations of Pet Sematary have their own pros and can deliver thrills and chills to audiences, they ultimately fall short in capturing the full depth, complexity, and psychological nuances of Stephen King's original novel. The novel offers a richer and more immersive experience. Number 4. Flowers in the Attic. Okay. So, I haven't actually watched this movie, but I have read the book, and the fact that it was made into a movie is upsetting to say the least. Major spoiler warning, because unlike these other movies, I will be revealing plot details, because I can't recommend this book without warning you about some of the plot points. This movie includes the imprisonment of young siblings for years, and eventually leads to a twisted attraction forming. The plot begins with a family's father passing away in a car accident. After a couple of weeks, the mother tells her 4 children that they will be leaving their home immediately and moving in with her very rich but very estranged parents. The family takes a long trek in the dark of the night, reaching a sprawling estate housing an actually gigormpanous mansion. Yes, that's a word. Upon arrival, they are greeted by their grandmother, who is a tall, sophisticated, stern-looking woman. She leads them through a darkened back entrance up to a small room. The mother tells the group that they will be staying in the room until their grandfather forgives her for marrying her half-uncle. Yes, I'm glazing over that. But once she and her father make amends, she will introduce all of the children, and they will live lavishly in the grand mansion forever. They were instructed to stay quiet, but they were able to play in the large attic that was attached to the room, and they would be brought food once a day. But things aren't as they seem. What? The group would end up staying in the room and attic for over 3 years. The oldest 2, Chris and Kathy, took care of their younger siblings and attempted to bring joy and learning into their seemingly endless imprisonment. They would decorate the attic with flowers and teach their 2 siblings all that they could. Chris and Kathy's relationship developed into, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm sure you can figure out what I'm not saying. Chris and Kathy first left the room with permission from their mother to watch a lavish holiday party that was taking place at the mansion. The next time they left the room was 3 years later when they scaled down the side of the house house and swam in a nearby pond. After years of being confined to a single room, they found out that their mother had been lying to them. The grandfather had already passed away, but she wouldn't let them out of the room because of a clause in the inheritance that she had received from her father. If it was discovered that she'd birthed children from her late husband / half-uncle, she would have to forfeit all of her money. Honestly, I'm kind of siding with the grandfather on this one. So when the group figures out that their mother never plans to release them, they decide to escape. Most of the children do manage to escape, and this leads into the 8-book series. Yes, there are 8 of these books. I would love to say that I wouldn't recommend them, but the writing is actually really good. Never should have been made into a movie though. That's just, ugh. Shivers. Number 3, American Psycho. American Psycho. The #1 Halloween costume for secondary school boys who want to seem edgy, educated, casual, and attractive. In other words, it's the go-to Halloween costume for people who did not understand the movie at all, but that's why we have the book. The main reason I prefer the book is because it adds a lot more information and leaves less room for Patrick Bateman to become idolized by people who completely missed the point. The novel reaches far deeper into the psyche of Patrick Bateman. It allows readers to intimately experience the dark, twisted thoughts and compulsions that drive Bateman's homicidal actions. Much of the novel consists of Patrick Bateman's inner monologue, which reveals his narcissism, obsession with appearances, and gruesome fantasies. These insights into Bateman's twisted mind are difficult to convey on screen, making the novel a more potent vehicle for understanding the character's madness. The film, despite Christian Bale's absolutely incredible performance, can't fully capture the intricate inner workings of the character. American Psycho is a complete satire of the shallow, materialistic excess of the 1980s yuppie culture, which is far more clear in the book. The novel's social commentary is more explicit and unrestrained, allowing readers to confront the brutality and absurdity of the characters and their world. The movie, while capturing some of the satire, doesn't convey the depth of Ellis's critiques as effectively, which I know because I am aware of multiple people who don't know that the movie is sarcastic. The novel leaves readers with a sense of ambiguity and uncertainty regarding Bateman's actions and his overall grip on reality. This contributes to the story's unsettling atmosphere and allows readers to create their own theories and conclusions. American Psycho also contains some of the most shocking and graphic scenes in literature. The book doesn't shy away from portraying extreme harm and depravity in unflinching detail. While the film adaptation does capture some of this, the novel's graphic nature is far more disturbing, pushing boundaries and evoking stronger emotional responses from readers. While the film adaptation of American Psycho is definitely an amazing cinematic experience, the original stands as a superior medium for a more in-depth exploration of the story. Side note, I actually love this movie. It is so funny, so amazing, and just perfection. But the movie still didn't manage to reach the level of the book. Number 2, It. I remember when the newer movie came out. It was actually the first horror movie I ever watched. I say watched lightly. I spent most of the time gripping my friend's arms and hiding under the blanket. But still, it was my first. But I will say the book does manage to capture a deeper sense of the characters and the story. So let's talk about why. The book is like a deep dive into the town of Derry, Pennywise, and the Losers Club. Stephen King's storytelling is incredibly detailed, which allows us to connect with the characters on a personal level. We get their inner thoughts, fears, and struggles, which are hard to translate fully into a movie's limited runtime. King is a master at weaving history and context into his tales. In the novel, we get to explore the dark history of Derry and how it intertwines with Pennywise and the current events, providing a deep understanding on the mystery and darkness in the town. The movie briefly touches on this, but not to the level that the book did. The Losers Club is the heart of the story, and in the book, we get to know them intimately. We watch them grow up, face their fears, and form unbreakable bonds of friendship. Weird unbreakable bonds. Maybe too weird. So I may give the movie a small step up because it didn't include the one event that I'm thinking of. If you know, you know. God. Pennywise is genuinely terrifying in the book. King's vivid descriptions of the clown and its other forms leave a lasting impact. While Bill Skarsgård's portrayal in the movie is memorable, I actually find myself reacting with glee whenever he's on screen. He's a performer. He's a little goof. He's being so silly and just pranking them all so hard. I mean, bad pranks. And yes, he's still terrifying. Bill Skarsgård did an incredible job, but I can't help siding with Pennywise at times because he's just doing what he loves. Who am I to deny him his passions? The novel manages to alternate between the kids' and adults' experiences in Derry without being confusing, which adds layers of complexity to the story. This narrative structure is hard to pull off in a movie, and it's one of the things that makes the book so much more engaging. The book It by Stephen King offers a richer and more immersive experience, packed with details, history, and character development that simply can't be replicated in a movie, no matter how much I love Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård. Number 1, The Exorcist. Okay, guys, I have a feeling this will be controversial, but please stay with me. Yes, we all know that the original Exorcist movie is amazing. It's fantastic. It's all of the things. But as we have already discovered, books are able to do things that movies just can't. The novel has a way of getting deep into the characters' minds, especially Regan and Father Karras. It's like having a backstage pass to their inner thoughts. You get to feel their fears and struggles on a more personal level. The book offers a slower, more atmospheric build up to the terror. It takes its time to explore the psychological aspects of the possession and the characters' climbing desperation. Movies often have to condense the story, which can sometimes mean missing out on the subtleties, and that is definitely displayed here. The novel is downright chilling and doesn't hold back on the graphic and disturbing details of the possession, giving us raw, unfiltered horror, where the movies had to tone that down to get a more audience-friendly rating. Blatty's writing style is another plus. He's a master of creating a sense of dread and unease that lingers long after you put the book down. Remember the subplots and secondary characters? The novel delves into them way more. We get to learn about personal struggles, the detective's investigation, and more about the ritual of the exorcism itself. Reading a book lets your mind create the horrors in your own way. You build images and scenes based on the author's words, making it a personal experience. The movie, while visually powerful, gives you a more fixed interpretation of what's happening, which takes away a lot of the powerful imagery that books are able to burn into your mind. That brings us to the end of today's video. Which of these movies do you think are better than the book? Let's start up a debate. The person who can change my mind will get their comment featured in my next video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, I hope you learned something. Keep it curious. Bye!